Welcome back to another episode. Oh.
Starting off with shenanigans art.
Oh my God, y'all, the shenanigans are so real. And you guys know it's always something. So Queen Jade is immersed, engulfed, and having so much fun with the new software that she decided to test out right before showtime. So
Yeah. I mean, you guys let me know if we're coming in really good as well. Just say something in the chat if you can. So
Yeah.
just let us know what's up.
right. Shout out to everybody hopping on and catching either the live and or the replay. Make sure you share your thoughts in the comments. We really appreciate it, but we want to talk about it.
Absolutely.
So, welcome back to another episode of Bits of Tea with your girls, Queen Koni.
And Queen Jade, what's up?
Yay. I love Wednesdays.
Oh, Wednesdays is actually beginning to be my favorite day of the week too.
Really?
It's Tuesdays mine, but
Yeah,
yeah.
but I love Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Before we get into the show tonight, guys, super shout out to Sound Mind and Body Wellness. Y'all, the community is growing. We are so grateful for all of our beautiful clients. We want to invite all new clients. If you've never been with us before, but you've been desiring to, we want you to come in with a 30-minute free session on us.
Yes.
Come catch a vibe. Come check out the space. It is absolutely beautiful. It's a surprise every single day.
You know, I gotta claps all the way around.
can't.
How y'all doing though? Like, how
Yeah.
y'all doing out there?
I was in the middle of an ad.
Oh, you are. My bad.
Yo.
I love it. I love the shenanigans. Yo, she's in the middle of the ad. I'm sorry.
I can't. Well, that was
Sorry,
that was the ad.
SMBW. My bad.
It's okay. It's okay. Y'all come through. Visit the site smbw2.com
Yes.
and there will be a brief application for you to apply to work with us. So, yes.
Oh, I love it. I
Yes.
love it. Let's talk about that for a minute.
Let's talk about what? The application?
Yeah, because that's the last thing you said. Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah.
We're going to give y'all the tea on this.
Just a little
because
bit.
This is just, it's just literally question mark. It leaves me with a question mark. It beats me. It beats me. So we implemented a new strategy, right? A new marketing strategy. And the strategy is dope. You know, it definitely works. It definitely hits. It's like A1000.
Yeah.
However, there was a little glitch in the system. And so we went ahead and added a new client form for our gift certificate on our site. Like, so as soon as you go on our site, boom, it pops up. It's a beautiful small little opt-in form to receive your gift, right? And all there was is, you know, your name, your email, and your number.
Yep.
Call to book.
Please.
Call to book and a call to action, right? So everything is there. It's beautiful. It's perfect. Bang.
Boom.
We get over 72 forms within like a week or two, or
Yeah,
you know,
at least two
weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe 3.
It was pretty cool.
But it was so fast. Like we got like over 72 inputs from this form, right? So we know just off of that right there that the strategy definitely works. Definitely works. But then we noticed that people were not calling to receive their gift, and then people were not responding to the email reminder. And then finally, Jade, so courageous, decides to call everyone. Some people back twice, right?
Yeah,
was
absolutely. Actually, you know, how the form was set up in the beginning was just, you know, you can hit it as many times. So as I was going down the list, that's how I was running into the same person.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Was there something we had to toggle off or on?
You know what? We're going to have to look at it.
Oh, okay. Got you.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Because, yeah, people was inserting multiple forms, like 2 or 3. It's like, sis, you can only
different days, different times. Yeah.
One gift per client. But anyway, so we added this strategy. It's super dope. We're like excited. All these people are coming in, yada, yada, right? Now, do you want to take off this story? Jade starts to call people back. What happened when you started to call people back? And this is wild, you guys. Like,
listen.
Wild. And I know y'all see this big ass book on my lap. I'm gonna get into it, I promise. But stay with us.
So I am calling back those who are interested in our therapeutic touch. So, yo, come on. Number one, if I'm calling you for something that you've done,
right,
and then you're on the phone acting as if you never filled out a form, but I got your name, your email, and your phone number.
I'm talking about like attitude. Like,
why am I calling?
As if we were soliciting. It's like, no, we're actually gifting you something, but people were responding the total opposite. It was uncanny.
Very uncanny.
Dissociation.
Absolutely.
True facts. Like, if dissociation was an experience and a person, a being, it was those people who Jay called. Called back, because they literally acted as if, and I even had that too. Right. I've experienced that too. Mm-hmm. The only difference was that after speaking with the person, she actually booked, and then remember, she came in and she was real funny style. She was dissociated. Yes. She literally, in her story, she was literally saying two things at once, which is so funny. So that's the topic of tonight, but we're gonna get into it. Just hold your horses.
Right. And if I call you, and if I call you, if you filled out the information over the weekend, and then I call you on Monday, and you don't remember that 2 days ago you filled this out, you filled the form out, but you want to ball me out,
right?
Yo, disassociation.
Yeah, for
seriously,
true facts.
Wow, don't remember what you were doing, like in the midst of, texting, probably on the phone, cooking dinner, like just not present at all. Like, yo, I need a massage, let me book that real quick, and then you're over here forgetting the entire thing.
Yeah, and then feeling agitated because you're not present, so you're not even hearing all the words that are being spoken to you over the phone. You're literally just automatically self-projecting and assuming that somebody's trying to sell you something. Absolutely. Or try to take something from you, or just interrupting or whatever.
Yes.
So that was crazy.
It was a wild ride. So then I was like, I really do not enjoy this experience, because the world is just going through a lot. And people are just in the midst of finding themselves too. So I just made a decision. I didn't want to feel that way. I didn't want to feel what others was feeling, because it was just like, wow,
the pain. Wow. Everybody's in pain, y'all. Like, a lot of people are in pain.
So, and then I just was like, let's make this more personable. And this will be a point where, if people are really true about their self-care and really want to come and to receive it, they'll fill out the form to its entirety.
They're going to invest time,
which is a short form with honest answers. So
it was
that's what came out of that.
It was a beautiful integration, y'all. And this is, oh my gosh, so beautiful. So we immediately, as soon as Jade had those experiences, which was only 2, but those 2 was enough.
It was enough.
She was like, babe, I really, as she said, I don't like the way that made me feel. I don't appreciate it, and I don't want that exchange no more. What can we do? No problem. It immediately went into like, okay, how can we reframe this? Because we know the strategy works, but it's not quite right. And that's the beautiful thing, sidebar, about when you invest in yourself and you invest in a container and mentorship, and you learn a new skill, or you sharpen old skills or whatever, you literally, like, you're supposed to integrate with that stuff. It's given to you, like the foundation, but it's up to you to like make it your own.
For sure.
And that's what it is. And so going back into the story, so we're like, how can we reframe the strategy that we paid to learn, right? Because it was given to us like the way it was, and we saw the results of that. You know what I mean? Great. But it wasn't working for us. And so we took it into consideration. We said, you know what? We already foresee SMBW being a member and package-based company, because what we do really is so intentional. It's really for those who are committed. It's really for those who really are taking themselves seriously, because when it comes to self-awareness and self-acknowledgement, so many of us are blind to it. And the repetitive cycles are on replay, and dissociation is on 10. And you don't even know you're dissociated because you're in the behavior. You're wearing the glasses, so you don't see outside of yourself. You're in it, And so we're getting into that tonight. But after we reframed the strategy, we decided, you know what? Why don't we reframe it in a way that feels better for us, number one?
Yeah.
we want people to want to work with us.
Yeah.
Like long term. We don't want to just see you one time. We want to see you at least 4 times. And then every month after that.
Absolutely.
Because it's a part of your well-being. It's a part of your nourishment. You know, it's a part of your, you know, like, yeah. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, may I interject? But I wanted you to finish your thoughts first.
Go ahead.
And what I was, when you were talking about, I guess the more intimacy with the clients, I'm going to call it that.
Yeah.
Man, it came to me too. So that's why I was like, oh,
girl,
not bad.
no,
I know it started all over again. Yeah,
man.
Man.
That's terrible.
It was gonna be really cool. It's just it was gonna pee back off of you, but in a
it'll come back
different direction. But yeah,
it'll come back.
We'll continue. Go ahead.
It'll come back. Yeah. And if it doesn't, oh well. So where I was going was I was just giving a story, but to bring it back because I did forget what I was gonna say. With the interjection. Going back to the questions, we foresee SMBW being a member-based and package based company. And then so the questions, so we decided to create these questions that really just, you know, cuts out the small talk, like intimate questions that you would have to like be vulnerable in answering.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so, and the questions are literally from our own life's experience. That's another thing. We asked questions that we asked ourselves first while we were in the midst of the darkness.
Mm-hmm.
Same verbatim question that came from our experience is what we put on the form.
Mm-hmm.
And we launched it and we got 4, you know, entries immediately.
Yeah, that was wild.
Immediately. And not only that, but one of those entries I called back, she was excited to hear my voice. She was like, she surpassed the new client special. She didn't even give me a chance to even say anything about it. She was like, what specials do you have? Because I don't know what else she had looked up, but I didn't know. But I was like, oh, we also have a Valentine's Day special right now. And she was like, I want it. Like, do you have availability on this day? And booked it from the new form, the upgraded, you know, the reframed, you know, strategy.
Yeah. And that allows us to be more personable with, you know, the client once they come in as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I wanted to go back to the multiple times of seeing the client 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
So it's literally important that even us as the therapists get to know you and get to understand, you know, what the issue is.
Mm-hmm.
And the more time you spend with us, the better rapport in the relationship.
Yeah.
Nothing is solved in one day, in 30 minutes, in 60 or 90. It has to be multiple trips to the same therapist, you know, so that you both, it's almost like can mesh together, and each session is really customized to getting you out of pain, as well as just everything, the flow, the depth, everything.
Yeah,
so
that's such a good tip.
Yeah, it takes more than one time, and it takes in the beginning more than 1 month.
Yeah,
especially if you're in chronic pain or chronic emotional pain.
Yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off you. That's a really good tip. Another really good reason why you want to build that rapport with your therapist and with us is so that you can become more vulnerable each and every time. Because oftentimes everybody always come and they're like, I'm good. Like, you're not good, but you're literally saying you're good. There's no pain, nothing. And then you get on the table and then you start to become more self-aware of the pain because you're taking deep breaths and you're actually quieting your mind. You know, you're slowing the thoughts down. And so you're able to feel, you know, and when you start to feel and you become aware, then you can start to see where changes can be made, you know, and that's the process. And that's why, like, therapeutic massage, I love it so much, like real talk, because it's such an accessible tool that we all have available.
Yes.
You know, that if we could integrate with it and align with the therapist that is doing this healing work, like, it has to be intentional. You really, your healing is in your hands. You automatically are moving towards reframing your thoughts, reframing your behaviors. Your courage is activated. Your confidence is activated. Like, life really starts to change. because you're changing. You're not thinking the same ways you used to think. You're not being and doing and eating the same things in the same ways like you used to, you know? And so I'm such an advocate for what we do because it's truly liberating.
Absolutely. Y'all, this ain't even the show. This is how it always goes. This is not even the show.
Girl, it's not even.
And
I forgot. I was in it.
I know
like,
you was.
Wow. Like, I forgot we had a whole show.
Yeah.
Like, that's so
I like the rants and the little freestyle that we do in the beginning. Good. Yeah. It's really cool.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's get into it. Tonight we are diving into the topic of dissociation. Oh my goodness. This is such a hot topic right now because I'm literally just seeing it right in front of me, like so clearly. And the reason why I'm seeing it so clear is because I myself am moving out of that space of dissociation. So I can identify it. Like, I've already called myself out. I've already been called out multiple times. And now that I've accepted it, I did the work to reframe it. And now that I reframed it and I'm in a different place, I'm able to identify and acknowledge it in others because I acknowledged it within myself. And I want to just go into what dissociation is by context, by definition, for those who are not aware or who are not familiar with the word dissociation.
Yes.
Because you could be in a behavior, right? Like, you could be in a certain pattern that is labeled as something and you have no idea that that exists, right? Like, as we talk about what dissociation is and what it was like for me, if you start to align like with the same exact things, then most likely you've experienced it or you are currently experiencing it. And that's the awareness that you want to have.
Yes.
You want to have that awareness that you're dissociated so that you can start to look for ways to reassociate yourself, back home. You know what I mean?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So let's get into it. So by definition,
I love going through definitions.
Yes.
So good.
Words, y'all. So to dissociate is to sever the association of self. To disunite and to separate. And the example they have here is he tried to dissociate himself from the evil in his past. So the term itself is it's got a connotation that is talking about you and you. Like you, yourself. And,
man, wonderful.
Yourself. So
thanks, Random House.
Yes. This dictionary is heavy as hell. And like,
I need some glue.
I was like,
that spine glue.
We need it. The book is like, sis, I'm retired. You can't use me no more. It's gonna be a struggle for you every time you pick me up because you should have been let me go. But she was like, I was like, babe, like, let's look up the word. Or she was like, you look up the word, like, find the definition. We always do this. Let's go ahead and just give it to them starting from that point. And I'm like, okay, yes, like, where's the dictionary? She was like, no, it may be easier if you just look it up through your phone. She didn't give me no details. She's just like, no, just go through your phone. Maybe easier. I was like, nope, I'm gonna go get the dictionary because I want to be extra. And so I hopped my happy self over to the bookshelf to only find a heavy ass dictionary with no spine. Like
it's gone.
The spine is done.
It's done. Like,
I was so excited that I was already picking it up before I realized that the spine wasn't attached.
Right.
So now it's just crazy.
I got to figure out how to do that. I don't know if you put hot glue on it. I don't know what you do.
Right, I'm gonna put it in.
You're going to have to.
Yeah.
Dang.
Oh my gosh.
You know it's heavy when to do that.
Oh my gosh. Yes. So getting back into the conversation at hand, right? Dissociation. I feel like all of us are, we've had experience with it. All of us, we've been faced with it, whether we want to acknowledge it or not. And it's all about bringing yourself out of it, right? Like, there's no judgment. It's not a bad thing. It just is, like, it's just a part of your process. So the conversation, if it moves you, good. Like, you want it to move you. That means that something's there. Like, that means that there's some type of attachment to the words. And that just means that those are the areas that you can begin your work. Okay, if you're wondering. So dissociation for me was very interesting, to say the least. It was so interesting because while I was dissociated, I didn't necessarily experience super low vibrational sensations and feelings like anger, sorrow, grief, because those are the things that I was dissociating from, right? So just to give, background, my dad passed away. It was very sudden. It was very, very sudden, unexpected, and shocking, like shocking. And so me experiencing that the way that I did, I went into a shock. Like I could not believe it. I could not accept it. It just wasn't it wasn't processing for me. And so I literally suppressed and like cut off the experience to the point of like I'm not even like I'm nothing. I'm not talking to my dad's wife. I'm not talking about my dad, about it, right, about the experience at hand. Like I'm acting like nothing ever happened, really. Like from the outside like looking stone cold. You would have never thought that like I was actually suppressing grief and that I was actually dissociated from myself completely.
Her outward expression wasn't stone cold. I'm talking about her inward expression was stone cold, because outwardly she was like, I got it, bubbly, bubbly, bubbly. And it's just like, I'm just got the eye twitch. Like,
are you sure?
Are you sure? Like, I don't know, So it's just like,
I know. Yeah. So I'm gonna go into some of the characteristics of like how I was while I was dissociated in that experience. But yeah, so me experiencing that with my dad and then like totally cutting it off, having no relations to the experience at all. I'm not talking about the experience. I'm not there. Consciously, I'm not there. And so the major behavior change that I noticed was that I stopped my practice too. It was like I was like angry on the low, with God, and I was angry. I was angry. I wasn't having it, and so I stopped my practice. And when I mean my practice is I stopped praying. I stopped meditating. I stopped writing. I stopped speaking as much. I stopped a lot of things that I do inside in the intimacy of my home that cultivate me in the ways that I want to become. I stopped all of it, and I had this energy of just like, fuck it, like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Valid.
And so, I was in that state. And so also while I was dissociated, I realized that I could not complete tasks. Like I was so heavily distracted. When you're dissociated, it's not that you don't have no thoughts going on. No, it's that you're heavily distracted, that you're not even like consciously present of what your reality is and the things that you need to do to sustain yourself in that reality. You know what I mean? And so I was so distracted that I would say out loud to my clients, to Jade, to Kimmy, that I would do things, that I was going to do something, and I would not do it. I would forget about it. I literally would forget about it. And only by the grace of God that like no smudge, no marks, nothing was made anywhere. And mistakes happened. Shit happened to where it's like, yo, anybody could have took this left, but grace and unconditional love, real love and support, like, yo, no problem, like, it's okay.
All good.
It's all good. It's all good. And that's scary. Like that is scary, me looking back on it. While I was in it, I had no idea, but looking at it, I'm like, that is so dangerous. That is so incredibly.
Speak about that.
So, well, I'm still in it. I'm still in the story. So I would do things like that, like say that I was going to do something and not follow up with it. It was very difficult for me to complete tasks. Nothing got completed. Nothing at all. None of my daily methods of operations were completed. None of the movements and steps required from my creations, like showing up for your creation, marketing it, cultivating it, you know what I'm saying? Packaging it, for the client. All those things were not getting done while I was in the experience of dissociation.
Water break.
Yeah. But I also realized that in the back of my mind, I was in Africa. Like I was still in Africa trying to figure shit out. Like I was replaying, the memories in the back of my mind. but in reality, consciously, I was just so heavily distracted and trying to put on the front. So I'm still aware, right? Like, so even in my dissociation, I'm still practicing certain things. Like, yeah, I may not be practicing my daily rituals and, you know, the things that I do for my self-care, but I'm still implementing, I'm still creating new neural pathways. I'm still reframing thoughts. You know what I'm saying? I'm still doing the work here and there in different other aspects of life. So the experience wasn't bad. Like, I wasn't like, I was still able to laugh and feel bliss and feel excitement and happiness and all those things. And still able to go through the drama and the chaos respectfully. You know what I mean? But there were moments of like random mood swings, right? Like, you were telling me that like it'd just be left field. Like, can you give perspective on what that was like from, you know,
from
your stance?
I got to really understand what walking on eggshells meant.
Okay. Yeah, walking on eggshells. That feeling is so uncomfortable.
So, yeah, because I've been known to do that as well and not realize it, but to
make people feel like they're walking on eggshells.
But not know how.
Right.
But actually seeing, you know, you go through yours, it's like, okay,
you were walking on eggshells.
Yeah, so... so if I was to give that, it was just like that, and it was just kind of noticing little things here and there, and just little sharpness, and then, you know, with that notification, I begin to add separation in our day, which means like we're not together, but you've got your morning, be in the house. I started going out in nature to the park, and then just different things to allow the simmer down to take place, because I didn't do anything. I hadn't, you know, nothing. It wasn't my fault, and nothing was going on. So it's just like, okay, well, all right, well, this is what we're gonna do, because we had already been a little catty here and there, and just, you know, and like hers was enjoying it like so much, enjoying it a little too much. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get out of this cat fight and just throw up my white flag, and we're going to take a different approach. We're gonna gentle relationship.
Gentle parenting for relationships.
Gentle parenting for relationships.
I can't.
So instead of just like wanting to be petty back, you're just like, okay, we're gonna stop that right now.
That's hilarious.
Right now. But no, so that's true. You know, that's it. Just the walking on eggshells feelings. I'm pretty sure some or all.
You had the courage though to, you know, after a while, because it went on, and then with grace and careful movement, the awareness was brought to me, because I really was unaware. I didn't know. I was just in it. You know, I don't even know what. I can't even remember now, like what was a trigger or anything. It was just me suppressing emotions that I wasn't allowing myself to feel. So there would be moments where everything was triggering you. Everything was triggering me.
That's what.
I would have moments of sadness, like during those, you know, behavioral shifts. Like I don't even know. We would be playing around, and I would literally
break out and cry.
Right. Like literally.
And you're just like, I don't know why I'm crying, and I'm just like,
y'all,
like I'm looking like, okay,
seriously.
All right. And then because my mind was just like, okay, well, you know you're crying, but it's your dad. Like, it's
it was obvious.
It's okay, but it's just like, no, like I just, you know, because you would then go into a memory, and then talk about the memory, and then after that you would feel better, but then just kind of go back to like it didn't happen type of situation. So. But you were getting it out little by little. You were beginning to just embrace grief.
Yeah.
Sadness, sorrow.
And it was crazy, y'all. That's crazy, because during that time, I thought this was so freaking weird, but I was attracting so many clients who had just lost their dad. And
that's so true.
Recently, I'm talking about like they're coming into my practice crying in my shoulders.
Yeah, lost them not too long ago.
It was back to back to back to back.
I'm glad that's coming in.
And in these sessions, I'm having to talk about my dad,
You're-
because
yes.
I'm having to convert them. Like,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. And in some of
Mhm.
these conversations, I would have to cry because I couldn't. She's crying
Yeah.
about the same thing that I'm suppressing.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So
Mm.
it was almost it was inevitable. It was
Mm.
impossible to not release and not talk about and not face the shit that I had been suppressing in those sessions. And y'all, when I say it was a lot, I can't even count.
Facts.
It was so much.
Facts.
It was so much. And like husbands being in there with their wives and like rubbing her back because she just lost her dad and she's still trying to process it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like couples coming in and like single coming in, like just by herself coming in. Like I was just like, whoa,
Mhm.
whoa. But those experiences, I had no choice but to, you know, allow myself to feel whatever it is that my body was wanting to feel in that moment, you know. And usually it was just sadness, you know, the grief.
Yeah.
And so man, that is so interesting.
Yeah.
I told y'all it was interesting.
Yeah.
Like the experience was like one for the books for sure.
Yeah.
It was one for the books. Still created so many beautiful memories, but
Yes.
also literally saw opportunities pass. Like just watched it or went after it and sabotaged it.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Went after it and sabotaged it.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Multiple times. And so me sabotaging opportunities and like literally like receiving the opportunity in my hand and then feeling like it's just like melting through my fingers, like just gone. Me seeing the sabotage is what started to allow me to like become more aware of myself and what's going on. Now I'm curious. Now I want to know why I'm having random mood swings. Now I'm curious as to why I'm not able to complete my task. Because before I wasn't questioning it.
No, you weren't.
It just wasn't happening. Nigga just wasn't doing nothing. Okay, like just
writing a whole bunch of things down.
Yeah,
just no execution behind it.
Right.
There was thought, absolutely,
Mhm.
but it was like it's almost. I pictured it as just having a bunch of files open.
Literally. A bunch
of files open, and it's just like
no organization, no doing nothing.
You know, this needs to go here, but wait, I gotta go here,
Yeah.
and but wait, this is not finished, and how do I go on and
so
express myself on video when I'm feeling this way or blah, blah. It was like there was so much taking place during that time.
You seeing it, like
Yeah.
I feel like you talking about
Yeah.
it is giving you even
I know
more clarity because we never talked about this before. We never talked.
We
about
never
this.
have. So yeah,
Wow.
it just it was like just seeing you start and stop, start and stop. You know,
Yeah.
that was the
theme.
That's exactly what it was, and
It was for a minute. It was for a minute.
Yeah,
it was for a minute.
Your follow through, it's just kind of like your motivation was there. You saw, you see
the potential.
You see all of it. You know, you're a big picture thinker, which is fantastic, and you reverse engineer it. So you work big, and then you go back and put your steps and processes in.
Right.
So, I mean, you may not have seen it coming, but like I feel like just going through it and then being aware and just allowing yourself to really feel it and embrace it and let it go.
Right. Yeah.
You know, that was a beautiful time to also witness. I really, really enjoyed how quickly after your hypnosis, it wasn't even a hypnosis session. We were getting out of a hypnosis session and you had called the death doula, which I never knew existed.
Me neither. End of life doula.
End of life. Oh.
It's death doula.
The death doula.
She's not scary, y'all. I promise.
No,
like,
see, I just made it.
Sweetheart.
Leave it to me. The death doula.
She's the end of life.
I'm sorry,
doula.
end of life doula, because that definitely
Her name is
sounds
Clara.
better. Shout out to Clara.
Shout out to Clara.
Yo.
Awesome. Yes. Awesome. So yeah, we were actually in class. We were getting certified, and she was my partner. And like you said, we were just getting out of our rounds of hypnosis, rounds, y'all. And
then boom, and then some breakthroughs were happening right then and there, and just that conversation, which was so cool that Claire was able to just be like, "Yo, hit me up after this.
She's seen it.
Let's go."
Yeah, it was.
And
it was amazing.
You ended up releasing again, and then I feel like some light bulbs were beginning to go off. And then my favorite part was when Mama Dukes from Africa called.
Yeah.
And you actually answered the phone. And then it was just like tears just and really happiness and everything, but more releasing taking place. And I feel like the unfolding was just like, Mama, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me finally accept what I have not been accepting.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. I think the whole time during dissociation, like I'm so aware of a lot of things that even like being dissociated, I'm still choosing better. Like I'm still choosing to be better in a lot of other areas that serves me all around. So even though I didn't want to feel the pain because I didn't want to accept it, I still had been creating new neural pathways to regulate my body for when the pain do come, because I was already telling myself, like, I want to feel it. Like, I want to acknowledge it. Like, I don't want to be in this behavior. I didn't know that it was dissociation.
Right.
But I knew that stuff wasn't getting done. I knew that the outcomes that I felt in my heart wasn't in my reality because of something that I wasn't doing or was doing. You know, I knew that much.
Yes.
You know, I just couldn't put my finger on it. And I was trapped in a lot of different processes of like how to do something instead of just doing something. And so it would look like a whole bunch of writing, getting the creation out. So I'm grateful for the practice of writing because I've been doing that like
it's definitely
for years,
you are writing.
Over decades. And so that's kind of just like a normal thing. Like if I don't even think about it. And it goes for you too. Like if there's something that you do to release, like writing or singing or whatever, your body's going to lead you to that thing like when you need to. So I was still writing so many things down. But like Jade said, I would start, like get the creation out on paper, but then stop. Like I would have a lot of momentum in the beginning. I may even I'll get it out on paper. I may even put it on a document. I may even create a graphic or, you know, create a container, actually like a back house, like a portal. I may do all of that. I may do a lot of steps in showing up behind my creation, but then at some point it's like shut down. And I mean like massive shutdown, not even just like trickling down, like done, not doing it. You know what I mean? And that was so often that, you know, me seeing the outcomes of that exchange was bringing me more awareness. So I started asking more questions. And like, once the awareness of my behavior shifts came about, I asked to be held accountable so that when the behavior actually came up, if Jay could hold space for me in that moment so I can catch it and reframe it. So that started happening as well. And then just over time, just from different decisions being made with no awareness, neither of us, of dissociation, neither of us is knowing that this is going on with me, but we're still actively choosing to be better, right? So just from choices and decisions being made, great ones, we find ourselves immersed in our rebrand, which life-changing, the whole entire thing. And in that rebrand, shout out to Rebecca, our mentor, we became certified in hypnosis, but having to go through the work as a client first. And that's what brought about the breakthrough that Jay was just talking about. And it was beautiful, but it was chaotic. Like it was super unpredictable. A whole bunch of emotions from like, oh hell no, this is not about to happen right now. Embarrassment, shame, like no, apprehension, like you know, wanting to get the full experience, but then like not ready to like really fully go to it because, you know, we're in a container with people we don't know. Right. You know what I mean? Like we putting ourselves on Front Street, like all those emotions was there for me and sensations in my body. But, you know, the ride was already started. And so, you know, going into the hypnosis and coming out of it, we were on break. And I'm telling Jay, like, yo, my hypnosis session was like, we were talking about dad. Like I wasn't even aware we were talking about him until we were talking about him and time was up and we had to like switch. And it was just like, whoa, like why am I talking about this here? That's kind of how the conversation started, right? At the park. And then next thing you know, I'm snotty nose crying. Snotty nose crying, y'all. And we still had class for like another 3-4 hours. We did. Like we literally like hands-on class,
during...
like not just sitting there reading a book, like actually having to do stuff for those hours. And so, you know, I get back to class, have a different partner. Like we finish out the class, but of course me and Clara were in the chat. So she's like, you know, I want to hold space for you after class. And that's how everything else took place in my breakthrough. And so after that came like the light. It was refreshing and draining at the same time, coming out of that space of dissociation, because there's so like a behavior shift. Your thoughts are being shifted. Everything, your identity, everything is being shifted. You know what I mean? And I went through 7 days of hell, like after that weekend, physical pain that I've never felt before. No sleep, migraines. I lost so much blood. My cycle came 2 weeks early. Body was just aching, congestion. Oh my God. It was so much. It was so much. And it was as if I felt all of what my body had been holding on to for so long. Like all the pain and the suffering and the grief and the sorrow was like being held by my body like this. And then when I went through the hypnosis and I had my breakthrough, I went like that and just let it all go, let it all out. But in order for it to come up and out, like we got to feel it. And so I felt it that week. Like I literally felt it. It was unbelievable. Unbelievable. And since then, my behavior has changed so much. Like, and not really changed so much, but it feels like I'm back home. Like I feel like I'm me again. Like I'm in my practice. I'm seeing the results of my work. You know what I mean? I'm getting stronger. I'm sharpening skills in other areas. I'm focused for the first time. For the first time in a very long time. But actually for the first time, period, because the way that it's flowing for me right now has never been like this. Like for the first time, I am focused. I am ahead of my work. Like I'm creating my email campaigns and getting things off my task list done quicker than ever before in my life. And I'm actually, again, seeing the results, fruits of that labor coming forth like very quickly. And so, now I'm in the life after dissociation and what that looks like. So if you too are experiencing this, or you have experienced this, this conversation is awesome for you, because you know you're not alone. 1, 2, now you have the awareness. You have more self-awareness of some of the things you may be moving through, and know that this is just a symptom of dissociation. It's not actually you. You can reframe it, you know, talking about the behaviors. But yes, I think it's time. Is it time for like another little...
It is.
Addy.
It is.
You want to take it away?
Let's see what we got on the 1 2 right now. All right, y'all. So if you guys are in the Pinellas Park, St. Pete, or Clearwater area, tomorrow is our integrative talk therapy group session community. Please come out. We are talking about a hot topic tonight. We could definitely continue that conversation into tomorrow's discussion. Please just, if you're ready, come through. Let's have a conversation. Let's be vulnerable. Come to a place where you're going to be safe. Ain't nobody talking about you because it ain't about you. Okay. And we're just having a wonderful time. And it's at Sound Mind and Body Wellness, located at 6860 66th Street North. And that's Pinellas Park.
Yes. That was
come
awesome.
Through.
Yeah, that was awesome. I love the integrative talk therapy workshops, because I feel like during those group coaching sessions, we literally give BTS behind the scenes of the framework that we always use, which is AAOC, the 4 pillars of alchemy that we literally utilize for everything. This framework will bring you more self-awareness in all aspects. It'll help you acknowledge the things that you need to shift. It'll help you tap into the observation without judgment. And then it'll motivate you and encourage you to take that action to execute something in support of where you're going, or, you know, who you're becoming. And so in those workshops, we really like give people the real tea on what the framework looks like from our eyes, like what it looks like via thought processes, you know, conversations, actions. And when you have that type of insight, family, your mind is automatically convinced that, oh, I can do this too.
Facts.
That's why it's so important to get yourself involved in community.
I like it.
Yes.
So I wanted to also touch on a couple of things that you were talking about too. Yeah. And the one is the very last thing when you said your body went through hell. Now, remind you, like when she was saying, like it felt like this and everything released. Mm-hmm. You know, what we call sick is not really what's taking place in our body. Our bodies are actually going through a process of healing because of the toxins and the things that were being released from the dissociation, and that's the bottling up and the pushing down. So just releases, like even after crying or anything, you can have bowel movements or urination, anything like that is just a sign that your body is releasing and going through a healing process. Just wanted to make that clear too. And then so I also want to flip it on its head too. When Koni was going through her dissociation, I also want to point out that higher self was also present. Right. So in the midst of the conscious mind, her just in the real time, like shifting and going through the behaviors, it's like subconscious mind is like, I've got my attention on the things that matter the most. So even though that she had all of the things dispersed and spread out, because everything has its purpose, everything serves both purposes.
I shade to that.
So although she was like, I don't know where to put these ideas, files, even though because they're unfinished, they were actually going into files. They were actually moving into the spaces and places to prepare her for when she came out of dissociation, so that she would have a platform or have a blueprint or a direction to move into, so that we can have topics like this to talk about. Or containers are created from that. We definitely collab on a lot of this stuff too, and it's amazing. I want to just say, like, if I was outside looking in, because you're the one that wearing the glasses, and flip it, I could see that preparing you for having a tighter schedule, preparing you for order, because when there's chaos, there's order.
Shout out to Selena. But y'all, it's so funny that you said that, because that's a beautiful transition into the next part of what I discovered with dissociation. What you said is absolutely true. So I had a sacred journey that helped me, again, become more self-aware and just helped me dive deeper into my own internal self, to see, to identify some truths and to, reestablish new, healthier neural pathways so that I can continue to reframe my thoughts and my behaviors. And so what I learned in that session was that, dissociation for me was also utilized as a tool to be able to learn new ways to regulate my nervous system, so that when I do come out of this space of dissociation, that I can actually handle the grief and handle the pain that's about to come. That blew my mind, because that's exactly what happened. I already knew what to do when the time came. I already was doing and becoming, and I already established in certain behaviors for my well-being that assisted my body in the release and in the pain. And so you're absolutely correct. Like, while I was dissociated, I kind of, because what happened with me when I dissociated is, like, I put on silent the negative thought processes. I put everything on silent. I put the pain on silent. I put, those negative dialogue that I was having all the time on silent consciously. And that allowed me to practice other new behaviors and other new thought processes, and accept other concepts that actually serve me. So, like, order and structure, like knowing and accepting the fact that, like, I got to be on a schedule, right? I'd already been working towards that during this phase of dissociation. And so in that circuit session, it was just like, wow, like, I was dissociated, but it actually served me. It served me. And I think that this goes to say for everyone, like, every single part of your process serves you. You may not know how it's serving you because you're in the midst of it and you're in the midst of the chaos and the pain. But when you come out of that, you're going to see how it served you.
Facts.
Dissociation is serving me right now in so many ways, because I am able to regulate my nervous system so much better than I ever have ever before in life. Okay. And I know that because of the situations that I've been positioned in and triggered in and how I'm responding to it. Period. You know?
I love that.
Yeah. So if you are experiencing dissociation, just know that it's okay. Like, it's a part of your process, and that it's serving you right now. It's serving you. It's serving you. Yeah. And I have something to talk about. I have some more to relate about when it comes to other people. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not ashamed. There's nothing to be ashamed at.
Yo, and what was coming to me too,
Of.
right, as well, when you were speaking, was like, dang, that's what the push through looks like if we were going to look at something tangible, because you could have did anything you wanted to. You could have, grief could have, let me put it that way, expressed itself in a distant separation, bedridden depression, in that sense of the word,
very easily.
But if you look at push through on the aerial view, it's like, I know that these things have taken place in my life. Right now I'm not accepting it, but I still have shit to do. So that is also another way that anybody can see, like, it's the push through. But remind yourself, though, in the push through, that you need to also be aware of what is taking place, because if you continue to ignore that, that's when you're basically in the forefront of, you know, what is that I want to call that like disease and all types of stuff, basically. You know, all the stuff that
you talk about, the ailments in your body.
There we go. The symptoms.
The symptoms. Yeah. The chronic pain.
The chronic pain. That's exactly. Thank you.
Pain. Yeah. So, it's true. It's very true.
So even when you're pushing through and you've got that poker face, you know, you also need to be aware, like I said, of you and what's going on in your feelings. And then you also need to make sure that there's some type of outlet, or you are consistently seeking, you know, somebody or something or community to assist you with that.
Yeah, I'm gonna advocate for the community aspect.
I like
because
that.
I had the community. That's what I experienced, community. And within my community was my family. You know what I mean? My sisters, shout out to them. Jade, Kimmy, you know what I mean? Like, some cousins, like, you know, some day ones, like my sisters from college. You know what I mean? Like, I had community. Facts. I had Sound Mind and Body Wellness, my clients. So community is the number one piece, family, like, that I can say. You need community. You need community. And that's how we thrive. That's how we live. That's how we grow and evolve together, is through community. Because in your community, you're going to gain the self-awareness. There's going to be somebody that check you on a behavior that's not in alignment with your higher self.
Facts.
And oftentimes you get offended, and it's okay. You know, you're offended because you didn't know.
Right.
You know, you didn't know, and it's okay. But don't take offense to it. If somebody's checking you, somebody that you love is checking you on a behavior, and they're not even checking you disrespectfully, like, they're literally like having the courage to tell you something because they care about you and they love you. And that behavior, you even know, is not in full alignment. Take it with grace and say thank you. Because that's a leg up, for real. That's a leg up. The awareness is a leg up, family. I'm telling you. So yeah, like, life after dissociation is so awesome. It's so amazing. I love this new schedule that I'm on. I love, you know, finishing projects and seeing things in completion and getting the results from my own clients. They are amazing. They're making major breakthroughs within their own lives. And it's a beautiful thing to witness.
Yeah. Yeah. You guys, I just want to say, like, keep going at it. You know, it's going to get easier. It truly is.
I do.
Stop judging your situations. You know, stop being judgy.
Right. Nobody gives a shit.
They don't. Because it's you, the person, ultimately, that, you know, shines. It's got nothing to do with anything else. So it's you. But yeah, man, like, I really appreciated this conversation. I appreciate you for always coming through with your wisdom. I thank you for this. I'm giving gratitude right now. So
I
I want
love
to thank
that.
you for this show, like being able, like being up here with you, like being
Yes.
able to have these conversations, and then also in the midst of the conversations, still have learning points and moments and
Right.
like realizations and
Right.
ahas, and like, yo, I was observing too,
Right.
you know. So
Yeah.
being able to come back, but I am in gratitude for that, like
Me too.
100%, you know.
It feels
and I
so good.
I love it. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me
I appreciate
too.
this platform. And like I always say, like, it's about you and I and like what we love to do, and
Right.
those who are, you know, tribe, they know we're out here.
Right.
You know, you just
Okay.
gotta look it up, you know. And we're here.
We here,
We're
y'all.
attracting our people,
We're
our
literally
tribe
here.
right now.
And it's y'all are so dope. I'm gonna say
yeah.
that too. I'm grateful too. But y'all really
Musicians.
are dope. Like, oh man, we
Artists.
meet
I love
amazing
it.
people like almost every day.
Mhm.
And it's truly an honor. Like, we're grateful for y'all. People be putting us-
Leaders. Oh my goodness.
yeah,
There's a lot of servant
they be
leaders.
thanking
So
us, but it's
awesome.
like, no, thank y'all.
you.
Like, we get to live out our creation because of you, you know, and that so good.
Right.
Yeah.
And
was
I always
beautiful.
say too, like, you know, if there's one life that is evolved from our platform, then Ashe. Like, I'm super
Right.
stoked, because again, it's just a trickle up effect. So yo, let me
Yes,
just,
that was beautiful.
yeah. So
That was beautiful.
that's all I have.
Yeah. So before we close out the show,
Yeah.
let's highlight the framework AAOC
Yeah,
for
let's do
someone
it.
who may be in that experience of dissociation or you know, just coming out of it or whatever.
It's
and
one of my
then-
favorite parts.
I know, right? And then
Yeah.
we can share some tools that we are utilizing to create balance and
Let's do it.
structure in our schedule, right?
Let's do it.
All right. So the framework is AAOC.
Write
okay?
it
You're
down.
gonna
This is
take
a pen
yourself-
and pad a moment.
Right. You're going to take yourself through these processes
Yes.
so that you can reframe your thoughts and your behaviors. And y'all, it works instantly. It's not deep. It's not like you got to take 3 hours to do it.
Right.
It's minutes, okay? Seconds. So the first part of the framework is awareness.
Yeah.
You want to become aware to what is needing to be changed, right? Like if you're in a certain behavior pattern and you gain some type of awareness of you being in that behavior, take
sure.
it, like question it, you know, like ask someone to hold space for you and call it out when they see it again. All right. So you want to have awareness. The second part is acknowledgement. You want to acknowledge the thought processes. You want to acknowledge your contribution within that experience. Like, what is the actual behavior, right? Like for me, my actual behavior was busting out in tears and saying, I don't know why I'm crying.
Right. Literally.
It's your dad, sis.
Yo.
It's the grief, right? So you want to acknowledge that. And then you want to observe yourself from an aerial view. And guys, this is just looking at your situation without the judgment, without the drama. Just look at the facts, right? So for me, my observation was I wasn't completing tasks, right? I was moody. I was shifty with my attitudes. You know what I mean? Certain outcomes weren't being fulfilled in the ways that I had anticipated, right? And I was aware of that. And then, you know, just like the stop and go, like not completing the project, right? So that's like an example of like observation without judgment, you know? And then the last part of the framework is going to be choice. You want to make a decision to do something very accessible, very practical, something that you can implement immediately that's going to support the new way of being, support the vision, the becoming. And that's it. Set the intention. You know what I mean? Set the intention. That's 90% of the work. That's 90%, family. Set the intention and then execute aligned action. Set your intention and then execute aligned action. And I promise you, like, things will fall in place the way that they need to fall in place for your higher self. Okay. The way that you think is going to happen is not it. It's not good enough. You're pulling data from the past. You're pulling data and thoughts and dialogue from old conditioning and shit that you working on. Okay. And this is where, like, for me, it's like God comes in, because it's not my time. It's not on me. It's not about me. It's about God and infinite source and what I'm here to do for God. You know what I mean? Like, and that feels so liberating to me, because I dissociated from my practice from God. I like literally was like, no, I don't got time.
That now is a non-negotiable.
it's a non-negotiable. It's a non-negotiable. And I'm so grateful for that love. And this is the love that we all are. Like, we can make the choice to be better even if someone is being a bitch. Like, even if someone is giving you a hard time, even if someone is being unjustifiable. Like,
it's the behavior.
It's the behavior. People are really going through something, y'all. Like, people are really holding on to envy, jealousy, abandonment. They don't know that these things exist within their body. They think that they're good. You know what I mean? But people are really holding on to old experiences, old sensations, you know what I mean? Old emotions. And so they're self-projecting. They're anybody that's a catalyst, you know what I mean? In their reality is going to get it. Okay? Everybody going to get it some way, shape, or form. They going to get it. It's at least one trapped emotion in there. It's at least one. Okay? Dr. Bradley Nielsen said it and he was right. One. It's at least one.
Yeah, I don't want to admit it.
So don't hold it against them. Like, don't hold it against them. Like, harness the Christ energy, spirit, that unconditional love. Like, God shows you grace every day.
Every day.
Every day. Yo, we fall short of the glory. God shows us so much grace. We can show somebody else that same grace. Or at least something close to it. It can't be close to it because we're humans. But y'all know what I'm trying to say. Y'all know what I'm trying to say.
Right.
You can make the choice to be better, not just for others, but for yourself first. If there's a certain exchange that you no longer want to be a part of, don't be a part of it. Like, sever the connection, sever the attachment. Don't be a part of it. Things that are not a part of your new story, they have no connection. There's no conversations. There's no thought exchanges. There's no connection. There's no connection. So, like, this is obviously coming up because somebody's moving through this, and I totally get that. I totally get that. And it's a work in progress. Every day is a practice. Every single day is a practice. Meaning, when you're triggered and the dialogue comes up to like want to behave in this old way again, you literally have to intercept. You have to come in and be like, nah. Let's think about this. You know what I mean? Like, how do we want to feel? Do we want this exchange with this person? Do we want to continue to give them words and give them power and energy to make us riled up? Do we actually want that, or do we want to utilize our time differently? Like, those are the type of thoughts and the dialogue that goes on in my head. It can go on in your head too. But it feels so familiar and feels so good is why we don't do it. That's the only reason. But if you're tired of being in that exchange and in that experience, you have to wean yourself off of the drug of stress. You have to. And when you do, your body's going to find more ways because it's an addiction. You know what I mean? But tribe, those of y'all that received that message, thank you for receiving it because it literally just came out.
Facts.
Ashe. Yeah, I'm done.
I got to clap on that. Yo,
it was for me. I needed
my head started smoking. I was like, yo, I just sit back and just.
I can't. But yeah, I'm done.
That was wild. That was wild. Yeah,
this was so good. Thank you for holding space too, and thank y'all for holding space with us.
Absolutely.
This is therapy.
Yeah. So, as always, y'all.
Yeah.
Begin the day with love.
Fill the day with love.
End the day with love. Peace.